Are you a giver or are you a taker? Or are you in between? Maybe by the end of this video, you'll know. Hello, beautiful people. Hi, my name is Sophia. I hope you're doing great. I hope everything is going well for you. Today, I would love to talk about givers and takers. And I have a quote or a couple of words that I saw on social media, specifically my Tumblr. Yes, I'm still one of those people who use their Tumblr. In fact, it's my favorite app, but that's not the topic. I got these words there, and I think we'll be doing this as we go on, getting people's words and talking about them and expanding on them, and I'll be sharing my thoughts on them, all of that. But these words, I thought they could bring up a conversation on givers and takers. Are you a giver or are you a taker? Or are you in between? Maybe by the end of this video, you'll know. But so the quote goes like this: give people as much as they give to you. Don't waste your 100% for their 10%. And another quote that was very similar to that said, stop giving 100% to people who give you only 10%. And I think that's a conversation worth having for people who give and those who take. I don't know, if you're self-aware, you'll know where you fall. Of course, most of us might not want to identify with the taker because maybe there's a negative connotation on that, but with self-awareness, you can be someone who takes but intentionally, and you're very thoughtful or empathetic as you're taking. It's not really a bad thing because we all need each other, and sometimes you need some help. There's no problem with being a taker. Sometimes we're both. I definitely don't believe in absolutes, but I think there's people who are givers, like they give. So let's talk about the givers a little bit. So givers, they give, they have a big heart. And when I say give, they give their time, their money, their resources, their energy. They give, and they give freely. They give without thinking. That's just a part of their nature. They're very empathetic because to give, they have to first step into whatever you're going through and then give whatever it is that they can give. And, you know, I know a couple givers, and I think they're the most beautiful people. Like, they're very thoughtful. They're very, yeah, they put themselves in other people's shoes, and it's really beautiful to see. And they always want to help out. They just always want to help out. They want to resolve, and sometimes they even give at their own expense. That they give even when they might not have a lot to give, even when they might be running low or they're running on empty, they still give. That's a person I'll consider a giver. And a taker, let's talk about those ones. The opposite of givers. They're typically the ones that are asking for the favors. They need help with resources, with time, with money, with energy, because they need something. And a taker, one who's not self-aware, takes without empathy, without checking in on how the person they're taking from is doing. They only call to get whatever they want, or to dump on you if they're taking your time and your emotional energy. So a taker sometimes is not considerate, and maybe because it's the in the heat of the emotions, they just want to share whatever it is or take because they need it that bad. But typically they're not gonna think about how you're doing. They just want whatever they want from you, and then they're out. So yeah. A taker will suck you dry. They will leave you empty and come back, and they won't even notice that you are low or empty. I think we know at least one of those in our lives. If you don't know any, you're lucky. But yeah, these guys are they rarely reflect, they rarely ask, how are you doing, before they take. So anyway, yeah, they are people who look out for themselves for the most part, and they rarely reciprocate. They rarely give you back the same things that they're taking from you. And if I'm giving you, say for example, if I'm giving you my money, it doesn't mean that every time, like, you must give it back if you don't have it, but it's more of like, it would be nice for you to do something for me, and without me asking, like for you to be thoughtful enough to ask, or to give yourself, or give your time or your energy, or you just call me and check on me, and not just call when you want something. Takers usually show up when they need something, and they're out. You don't hear from them up until they want something again, and they won't even know that that's their behavior. But anyway, I think that's what these quotes are talking about, because if you're giving people your 100% and they're giving you 10%, that's usually what it means. But I also want to say that I might be, say I am a taker, an example, just an example. Say I'm a taker, I might be, in your perspective, I might be giving you 10%, but then on my end, I might feel like I'm giving you 100%. There's that, Sometimes people feel like they're giving you more than you feel like they're giving. That makes sense. But yeah, sometimes that happens where you feel like you're not getting the same energy from someone, but on their end, they feel like they're giving you everything and that it's enough and that they don't have to do more, and that they're not even taking, actually. They don't even realize that they're taking. They really lack self-awareness. Like, it's all about them. Anyway, I wanted to say that because that quote where they said, like, stop giving 100% to people who only give you 10%, you might think they're giving you 10%, but sometimes that's all they have to give. You can't expect that. You can't think that your 100% is another person's 100%. So that goes like for givers. You can't think that. It's unhealthy to think that what you give will be reciprocated in the same way that you've given it. It's unhealthy for you, and maybe you want to manage your expectations. So yeah, I have a couple words for both ends, for the givers and for the takers. So, givers, first things first. Before you give, make sure your cup is full. Don't just be giving because people need. There's always going to be someone who needs something from you, or there's always going to be people in need, and you always can't be the one to save them or to help them. First, take care of yourself and take a deep breath before you help people. Like, do I really have this to give? And am I willing to lose this thing that I'm giving? Say you're giving money. Are you willing to lose that money? Because most times people might not give it back. Or even your energy or your resources. Like, are you giving with expectations, thinking that people are going to return those same favors? Because that might not happen. Some people don't realize that they've been taking from you. So you might not get that same energy. You might not even get a thank you. You might not get that. So before you give, ask yourself, can I give this and be willing to lose? Will I be okay if I don't get anything back from this person? And then give. And make sure your cup is full. Like, you have the energy to give. If someone is calling you and you are having a bad day, and someone has a bad day and they're trying to dump on you, you can tell them that you're not in the space to take on whatever they are trying to give. Because you're the one who's going to feel drained. It only hurts you when you're pouring from an empty cup. In fact, some other people don't even realize that you're pouring from an empty cup. They're just taking and they're out. So it's up to you to look out for yourself. Another thing for givers, you must set boundaries. You must have some limits of, okay, this is all I can give. This is this is the time I can give you. This is the energy I can give you. I can't give you more than this. You must have that. And I promise you, it doesn't make you a bad person. It doesn't matter what people say. Like, you know yourself. It doesn't make you a bad person when you decide to be a little bit selfish sometimes. When you put yourself first. It's okay. I think sometimes we feel bad when we're not as giving as we normally would be. So you start thinking that you're not, maybe even start overcompensating or apologizing too much when you know you don't even have whatever the person needs. Like, you can't give it. It's okay. So the boundaries are really for you, and for you to know your limits, and for you to know that this is it. I can give you, I am a loving person, but this is how much love I can give in this moment, especially if you're not giving me anything to work with. Yeah. And I only say that for people where there's a pattern, because sometimes once in a while, you're definitely going to give more than you're getting. But there's sometimes when there's a pattern of you're giving too much, you're giving more of your time than the other person. Like, at some point, you're going to have to set that limit that, okay, maybe at this point, I might, stop giving you as much time if you're not giving me the same, if you're not giving me a minute and I'm out here making time for you, making hours for you, making space. I think that's very helpful. That way you don't grow resentful of people, because without boundaries, you're going to resent people. You're going to resent them. That's just how it is, because you're only human, and giving and giving and giving and giving and not getting anything back is going to make you feel a type of way, even get you jaded to some point where you just feel like, man, people ain't right. In fact, they might even turn you, and you might become that kind of person who matches energy, treating people how they treat you. Yet at your core, that's not who you are. That comes from not setting boundaries. So, when you observe that pattern of someone who just takes and takes, let them know kindly that, man, I've been giving you my time. I've been doing all of this, and I feel like right now I'm tapped out. Like, I can't. But I'm still here for you. I still do care for you. I just can't help you in that way. Because sometimes we enable people when we keep giving and giving, and they never take responsibility for their own stuff. They never feel empowered to do things on their own, because they know that you are there to save them, to help them, that you are always there. So with people who have patterns of taking from you, and you feel it, like every time they call, you're like, oh, there they go again. You're scared to answer their call. You're trying to think about lies that you're going to tell them so you can get out of the situation. All of that doesn't need to happen. You could just tell them how you feel, and hopefully they'll be understanding. Like, I already mentioned this, but the thing of not having to match energies, because on that quote where someone said, give people as much as they give to you, don't waste your 100% for their 10%. Someone left a comment and said, not everything in life is transactional. And that's what I think too. Like, not everything in this life is transactional. Like, sometimes you're going to be the one giving 100%. There's some people God sends in your life that they're going to benefit from you, but you will never benefit from them. Like, they're just going to take from you and dip, but you will be drained. Like, basically, you're their path to whatever it is. Like, so these things happen where people come and use you, and then they go become better, and then they use whatever they got from you to elevate, and you feel like you didn't get anything from them. Sometimes God uses you for that, because God knows that you have a big heart and that only you can do that kind of work. So you don't always have to match energy to become cold when people are cold to you, to become less giving because other people are not as giving to you. No, at your core, you're a giver. You just have to set boundaries, but matching energy is going to turn you into the person that you're not, yeah, you don't have to match energies. Some people's energy is very low vibration, or you don't need to match that. You can choose to walk away. That's an option. You can choose to be kind. You choose to be kind while setting your boundaries. Anyway, words for the takers. Takers, man, y'all. But you know, the crazy thing is that no one is going to identify as a taker. That's the thing. Because a person who takes is rarely self-aware to be like, man, all I do is take from people. I never give anything back. I leave people feeling drained. I'm yet to meet someone who reflects that way, because most of us, when we call ourselves out, for some reason we feel like we're bad people. We feel like those behaviors about us are permanent, rather than, looking at them as things that we can work on. Anyway, if you identify with being a taker, I just want to say, like, be considerate. Or if you're a person who asks for favors a lot, just be considerate when you call people. Check in on them first before you ask for things. Like, hey, how are you doing? How is your life going? And genuinely, like, and don't check in only when you need something. Check in. If this is your person, check in whenever. Don't only come when you need things. Be considerate. Yeah, check in on how they're doing, before you, let's say you want to talk to someone about something that happened that's maybe sad. First, check in on the person that you're talking to. That I'm gonna say some sad stuff, like, is that something you're willing to take on? That would be nice, to be considerate of others, because other people are having long days too. It's not just you. And when you just call and dump on people, that is draining of their energy. Yeah, also observe yourself and observe the patterns of the people who are always giving you things. Like, if you're watching me, do you have people who are always sacrificing their time? They're always giving you whatever money or resources or their energy, and you realize that this one specific person who's always there for you, have you said thank you, like a genuine thank you? Have you expressed yourself in terms of letting them know that I realize you're always down for me. I really appreciate you. I see you. Just acknowledging them, Have you even tried reciprocating? If someone is always giving you their time, how about you do the same too? And their energy. How about you do the same? How about you be thoughtful too? If they're always thoughtful, if they're always buying you little things and telling you they thought of you, you can do the same thing too. Because if you're not, then maybe you are a taker, and that's okay. But you can choose to not be and try to reciprocate where you can. And sometimes all you can do is even just check in. There's some people who are always helping you out with things, or always helping us out with things. You can call them and check in on them and just, make sure they're doing okay. Randomly, Another thing, and it's the last thing, it's, for a taker, you must know that it's not always about you. Like, yes, you have problems going on, but the people that you calling also have their lives going on. They also have things going on. And if you can, try to resolve things within yourself first before asking for help. Asking for help should not be the number one thing on your list, or going outside of yourself. Sometimes you can go inside yourself and see if there's some things you can resolve before getting other people into it. Because everyone has something going on. So before you reach out, remember that, everyone's got something. So while you're asking for things, while you're taking from things, while you're asking for things and taking from people, they have things going on too. So maybe you want to try to be your own resource if you can. And then if you cannot, if you've done everything and exhausted yourself, then you can step out and ask for help. Some people ask for help. That's all they do. They don't even know that there's things that they can do themselves, And these days with the internet, you can simply just Google something, whatever you need help with, and there's probably ways that you can do it yourself before you involve someone. That way, by the time you involve someone else, you know that you've done everything, it's kind of like, let me say, emails. Sometimes people at work can send you emails, and it's things that they can resolve. And sometimes if you take a while to resolve them, you'll come back and they'll tell you, oh, never mind, I resolved the issue. Because sometimes the natural thing is to ask for help when you know there's someone who can help. But let's go inside ourselves and see if there's things we can do and not be takers. But yeah, I think that was a nice word. Like, we went into that. Let me know in the comments what you think about this. Are you a giver? Are you a taker? Are you in between? Are you reflecting based off this video to, to see if you've been the one taking, or you've been giving a little bit too much and you feel drained? Let me know. And thank you so much for watching this video. If you want to see more videos, like, subscribe, share, comment. And yeah, I will definitely be doing more of these where I break down different words, people's words. And yeah, I'll be seeing you in my next video. Deuces.